a boring collection of dates and times, but history is about people. And in every time in our history when God needed somebody, he found somebody to lead us. What the 44th President of the United States, Barack Hussein Obama, knew so well, that he, to many people, was an anomaly, a singularity. He knew that he was a continuum. He was the result of a process that had gone on long before him. Who would have thought that when those 16, 17 bedraggled Africans, shackled and emaciated, landed on the shores of Virginia, that later many of us would be living better than anybody in our family history? There's some of y'all who have more today on a material side than anybody in your family line. But even though we have more stuff, we don't have the stuff they had, because they went through slavery, they went through Jim Crow, they went through the American brand of apartheid. God raised up great leaders for us in the 19th century, in the 20th century, in the 21st century, and there's a whole generation of young leaders coming up that we don't know anything about, that God is going to use in every area of American life. Many of you all are working places today that 35, 40, 50 years ago you would have had to carry a mop or a bucket to be able to go in, but now you swipe your card. Every time you swipe your card, there's a trail of blood that follows. Every time you go into a voting booth, how many people gave their lives, were beaten, and how many of their homes were burned, and they were left for dead, all because they wanted to cast their ballots. This is a serious time, and we need to take it seriously. And one of the ways that we do that is by knowing who we are. We need to know who we are. And so we wanted to celebrate this month some of the accomplishments of our people. Sports is an obvious one because it has been an avenue for escape for so many African American men and women who were denigrated for who they were, but prized for what they could do. And out of that, there are some pioneers that have gone on before. Every baseball player, black baseball player, ought to give a tithe of their income to Jackie Robinson's estate. In every place, every door that has been opened has been kicked open by somebody who got kicked on. But nevertheless, through that, sports, it has, like many things in American life, been taken out of perspective. And there's so many young people that would rather be in the NFL or the NBA rather than achieve in the classroom and do other places. But we cannot deny that sports has been a major part. Even when they denigrated us for who we are, they still took pride in our accomplishments. How many white Americans cheered when Joe Louis knocked out Max Schmeling? How many white Americans cheered when Jesse Owens defeated the best that Hitler's Germany had to offer? But we thank God as well for our sports heroes that stood up for what was right. For Muhammad Ali, who gave up the prime of his life because he would not stand. For guys like Jim Brown and Bill Russell and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who have stood for social action and social consciousness and didn't let their money, they had their money, but their money didn't have them. Ain't no better words been told than that. You may not have seen the movie, but the thought is true. Make that money, but don't let that money make you. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about with having to go too far. They made their money, but they didn't let the money make them. And so we want to thank God. We want to celebrate that today. And next week, we're going to be looking at another avenue of great African-American cultural expression, and that is music next Sunday. And we're going to be looking at the spirituals, the sorrow songs, the freedom songs. And many of those songs were code for the Underground Railroad. The white massa thought they were just singing Swing Low, Sweet Chariot. They were saying, Harriet Tubman coming through tonight, coming forth to carry me home, to get out of here. Freedom, old freedom over me. And before I be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free. Sister Leanne Broadus is going to be bringing some of those spirituals with us next week. And then the Voices of Genesis and Minister Glenda Taylor going to be taking some more throwback gospel for us. On the third Sunday, we're going to be focusing on dance and art. We're going to have a pop-up art show here. That's what they call them. I didn't know what they called them. I need millennials to tell me when they just pop up. They're having a pop-up art show. We're going to have 6 outstanding African-American artists to do different genres and visual arts, and they're going to have their displays all through here for both examination and purchase. So we want you, please, to remember that. And we're going to have the Lipon dance group, which is going to be with us, African dance group, dance and drums and costumes, and we're going to make you think you're on Broadway. They're going to be leaping and jumping and everything. We're going to be doing that. And then on the fourth Sunday, we're going back to music and the other original contribution to the musical genres with jazz. And jazz is a unique contribution for African Americans. We created jazz. We created jazz. Black people change everything they touch. We don't sing nothing like nobody else. You know, our white brothers and sisters sing Amazing Grace straight, no chaser. You know, Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound that say. Not black folk. We hold that A for about 5 minutes. Then we change everything we do. We change everything we do. We've been known for taking leftovers and making them high cuisine. You know, they threw away the parts they didn't want. We took those greens and cooked them. Took the parts of the pig that they didn't want, another part, and cooked them. And yes, we know that all of that is not good for us every day, but it helped us survive and be able to go through. So with jazz, we've got 2 outstanding jazz groups that are going to be with us. The Bayou City Brass Band, if you've never heard them, they were here a couple of years ago for Bubba Thomas's birthday jazz jam right here, and they were outstanding. And also my good friend and one of the outstanding jazz musicians in this city, Joe Carmouche. And they're going to be with us. So please be out and support this. Or at least do me a favor. Act like you're excited about it. Because if you act that way, it'll probably catch. You know, get a smile on your face, put your hands together. Come on, right now, do it right now. There you go, there you go. I want everybody to look at their neighbor and say, that just sounds great. See how easy that was? We got 2 outstanding young men today that are going to make presentations. And for those of you all who have your bulletins, and everyone should have one, this marvelous monthly bulletin, there is a full bio. People on our live streaming don't have it. So I want to tell you something about these 2 young men. First of all, Justin Taylor Fontenot is the youngest son of our Minister of Worship, Arts, and Music, Minister Glenda S. Taylor, and Mr. James Fontenot. Justin is a junior at Lamar High School, which is in Houston ISD, where he is an outstanding scholar athlete. You can see what we put first in the bio. He is a member of the National Honor Society, and he matriculates in the International Baccalaureate curriculum, considered by many experts to be the most academically rigorous public secondary school curriculum in the nation. Justin is in the top 10% of his high school class. Amen. Give him a hand clap. Glory to God. Justin has been a 2-year starter for the Lamar Texans. And Justin is ranked as one of Houston's top prep linebackers. He has been named as one of the area's top, this is what they call them, heat-seeking missiles, for his exemplary play on the field. He was selected for first-team all-district honors in both his sophomore and junior seasons. In 2 years, Justin has been selected by the sports writers as player of the game 6 times. He has caught the notice of elite college football player programs across the country. Over 40 to date. I'm waiting for Nick Saban and for Urban Meyer to show up at the house. Better fry some chicken. Fry some chicken and come on in. They do that recruiting. One good thing about Justin, not only could he get an athletic scholarship, but he's eligible for an academic scholarship. But since he has been a little boy, his favorite team has always been the University of Texas. Justin was born and raised in Joy Genesis, and we're expecting great things from him in the classroom and on the athletic field in the future. Why don't you give Justin a big hand clap? After Justin has made his presentation, we're going to switch this out for them. After they made his presentation, the Voice of Genesis are going to come again and sing, and then we're going to hear from Anthony Quick Ulrich. Anthony, where's Anthony? He's right here. Stand up, Anthony. Anthony is a native of Denton, Texas. He's the son of Pastor and Lady Lisa Aldrich. He was an outstanding athlete at Denton High School, and he accepted a football scholarship to the University of Houston. Redshirted his freshman year, Anthony exploded into the scene as a sophomore running back. Blessed with blazing speed and quickness, Anthony lived up to his trademark nickname, Quick Six, for his ability to get in the end zone quick. During his time as a 3-year starter at U of H, Anthony set the record for yards per carry and holds the single-season rushing record. He ended his career as the 4th leading rusher in UH history. Quick was a first-team All-Conference USA selection, made several All-American teams as honorable mention, played in 4 bowl games, and was number 5 in the ESPN Sports Center top 10 in his game against Oregon. His highlight was narrated by the late, great Stuart Scott, who remarked, "They call him Quick. Show him your tail light, son." At the NFL Combine, Anthony posted one of the 10 fastest speeds in the 40-yard dash and still holds the Combine's long jump record. His professional football career included stints with the Denver Broncos, the Washington Redskins, and the Toronto Argonauts of the Canadian Football League. His tenure in professional sports was cut short, unfortunately, by injury. Anthony joined Joy Tabernacle as a college student and serves as the drummer in the Genesis Band. He is married to my daughter, the former Lauren Williams, and they have 3 daughters, Cortland, Soraya, and Asen. All right, okay. Now, once more time, we're going to switch this out, and then the next voice you'll hear from this podium will be Justin Taylor Fontenot. Come on, fellas. J-Man, you get to use the mic. Put it in the place. Hey, take that.
Turn around. There we go.
Let's bow our heads in a moment of prayer. Father, thank you for waking us up this morning. For every day is an important day because it allows us to worship and glorify your name. Thank you for this opportunity, and I pray that this presentation allows me to ignite and motivate your people. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. Thank you for my pastor for asking me to be a part of this celebration for Black History Month. For obviously our culture is an important one in our history in America. And thank you for my mom. I love her. And thank you for my church family, because each one of you all is a part of me. And it's very important. And today I'll be presenting a group of Christian athletes from Syracuse University, football players. They played the 1969 and 70 season at the University of Syracuse. Although called the Syracuse Eight, it was not a group of 9 individuals by the names of Gregory Allen, Richard Bulls, John Godbolt, Dana Harold, John LeBron, Clarence Bucky McGill, Alif Muhammad, Dwayne Walker, and Ron Womack. These African-American players at Syracuse University boycotted the 1970 season in the collective effort to demand change and promote racial equality within the university's football program. These student athletes wanted better medical care for injured players and stronger academic support, as is going to help me as an individual as the next level in my life. Also, these players wanted the right to compete fairly at any position on the starting team and racial integration of the football coaching staff. The activism actually began in 1969 with the black players accusing Coach Ben of hosting discriminatory practices. The ensuing season began with a home game against Kansas and the most potent riot in Syracuse campus history. A pregame confrontation began. Nearly 100 policemen and 400 students featured flying rocks, bottles, wood, pepper gas, and nightstick beatings, all because of African American players trying to make a change. Later that school year, the Syracuse Chancellor, John E. Corbelly, Jr., convened a commission to investigate and assess the situation. The commission's 60-page report concluded that the players' response to racial injustices of the time and their efforts to bring about change were justified. In 2006, at halftime of a Syracuse-Louisville game, the group was recognized and presented with the SU Letterman's jacket, which they would never receive 36 years ago. These men sacrificed their playing of the sport they loved and possible career after college to stimulate social change and needed awareness. This is most importantly important to my life because as I go in the next stage of my life, if it wasn't for them, my life could be totally different right now. And I have a presentation, a video presentation.
In 1969, 9 black teammates, members of the Orange football squad of Syracuse University, made a life-changing decision. Together, this band of brothers decided to boycott the 1969-1970 football season, challenging the school they loved in a collective effort to demand changes and promote racial equality within the university football program. The Syracuse Eight is the long overdue story of that time, that decision, and how they, as young men, became change agents in the world of American university athletic programs. The setting is important. It was a time of cultural change in our country. Race inequality dominated the national news. Mistakenly called the Syracuse Eight by the media in 1970, the players actually numbered 9 and included Greg Allen, Richard Bulls, John Godbolt, Dana Harrell, John Logan, Clarence Bucky McGill, A. Alif Muhammad, Dwayne Walker, and Ron Womack. The players approached the coaching staff with 4 demands: access to the same academic tutoring made available to their white teammates, better medical care for all team members, starting assignments based on merit rather than race, and a challenge to integrate the coaching staff, which had been all white since 1898. Arthur David Mark chronicles this landmark time in Syracuse University's history in his latest book, Leveling the Playing Field, The Story of the Syracuse Eight. 35 years later, in 2006, the university exonerated the Syracuse Eight for their boycott and awarded each the Chancellor's Medal of Extraordinary Courage. In 2011, the university established the Syracuse Eight Scholarship, which is awarded annually to an African American or Latino first-year student who exhibited leadership skills and dedication to community service in high school. These young men made difficult choices on their journey to manhood, sacrificing college and potential pro football careers, opting instead for social justice, not just for themselves, but for future generations as well. The story lives on. The conversations about race, shifting cultural attitudes, choosing the hard right over the easy wrong, and bringing communities together to effect change. This is our story, today.
And with this presentation, I would like to challenge each and every one of us through our daily lives to continue to promote change, continue through our history. My pastor shows me that every day with the accomplishments he's done. I like to thank my grandma with the shades. She is a wonderful inspiration in my life, and I look up to you every day. And it's crazy because as I go through my school day, you never know who's watching you. And people tend to, they told me before, like, it seems like you're living a perfect life. But it's crazy because you think that of other people and when you're like looking at them. But I motivate y'all to know that somebody's watching you and somebody's being motivated by your actions, and to keep promoting change. And I'd like to thank Quick, because football, I look up to him every day because I know how great of a player he was. And yeah, that's my presentation.
Man, when I gave Justin the assignment, I said, Justin, I want you to lift up something and somebody that folk don't know about. I didn't tell him to lift up somebody that I didn't know nothing about. I'd never heard of that story. That is absolutely fascinating. And particularly to come from Syracuse University that produced Jim Brown and the first black Heisman Trophy winner, Ernie Davis. You would think things were great there for black students, but in reality it wasn't. What a great story. Now you've motivated me to go get the book and read it and find out more about them. He was so obedient to the assignment. And I kept asking him, I said, Justin, you got your stuff ready? Yeah, I'm fine, I got it. Justin, you don't need no? No, I got it. He was like, just floating. I want to pray for this young man because I want to pray that he reaches his potential in every area. Not just in sports, but in academics, in sports, in relationships. He's probably, and he doesn't really think about it, but he's probably in a huge high school, probably one of the 3 or 4 best known kids and most popular kids in that school because of the athletics and other stuff and because of his personality. And he's like all adolescents, they get on your nerves and they do stuff that's dumb, but he's a good kid. You've got 2 good kids. And I'm just so proud of you. What an excellent presentation. What an excellent presentation. The Syracuse 9. It was really 9 of them, not 8. I got that. That is absolute. Now, come on, just be honest for a minute. Raise your hand if you had never heard that story before. Doc, you helped everybody today. Everybody, this is where, I know some people are going to say they heard it, even if they hadn't. Yeah, I'd heard about that. I'd never heard of that. I'd never heard of that story. And that was living during the time when I was in school. I was in high school. I was in college. 69, I was in college. But we were caught up in doing our thing. I was busy running down to Lincoln on the weekend. What you laughing for? You want to be with some black folk? That's where I had to go, down to Lincoln, where Regina was in college. So thank God for you. Okay, well, the Voices of Genesis are going to come to us again. And then after that, we're going to hear from Brother Anthony Quick Aldrich. He's going to talk about life lessons he's gotten from sports. And last night, he had a chance to go to an NFL ex-players event that they had down. They have at the Super Bowl every year and connect with some guys that he played with and some guys that he knew. And so that was wonderful. All right, this is a great choir. Give them a hand clap as they come. Come on, encourage them.
As the voices come, I just want to tell you, son, how much I love you. I tell you that daily. There's not a day that we don't get up every day going to school and we pray. We can't get out the house before we pray together. And even with the divorce of his mother and father, he has still, I have to thank God for James Fontenot, because James Fontenot is a wonderful father to his kids. And my kids have honored both their mother and their father. So to God be the glory for the things he has done and is going to continue to do. I thank God for this church and for the awesome leadership that we have under Dr. Michael P. Williams, who assists in making sure these young men become, and Mr. Malvo, Pastor Malvo, who makes sure that these men come all they can be in Christ. So I love you, son, and I'm proud of you.
All right, this next song is going to be "Oh to Be Kept." How many know that song? That's a good old hymn, right? Now, this is only for the people that have been through.
Yeah.
And know that it was not you.
Yeah.
But it was Jesus who kept you. Come on, put your hands up if you know that God kept you.
Yeah.
Come on, he kept you from a car accident. Come on, he kept you. He kept me from being with cancer. He kept me.
Yeah.
Hallelujah. He kept us from the hand of the enemy. He kept us. If you've been kept, come on and shout, yeah. Come on and shout, yeah. Hallelujah, because he is good. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Come on, he is good. Hallelujah. He is good. He's mighty. He's merciful. And we bless your name. Hallelujah.
Amen. Amen.
Oh, to be kept by Jesus, kept by the power of God, kept by the word of God. by Jesus. Lord, at thy feet I would be nothing, nothing be all and all. I shall be all and all. Shout be all and
Hallelujah.
No, I'm just playing. I was gonna sing No Weapon for y'all because I got skills like that. You know what I'm saying? They don't never give me the microphone, so now I got the microphone. I can say what I want to say. I want to thank my pastor, my father-in-law, for this opportunity. Pastor Barry, Pastor Malvo, my church family. I'm a little nervous up here. My boy Justin did such a good job. He kind of made me cry a little bit. Yeah, because that's my boy. Okay. I almost started crying again. Okay. All right. I got life lessons from football. And a couple of things, I'm going to focus on 3 points because it's a lot of things that I can talk about with football. I learned a lot of things through football. I want to thank my wife. I love you. And all my kids. And let's see, I want to start with sacrifice. You make a lot of sacrifices in football. I'm nervous, I'm sorry about that. So it's sacrifices says an act of giving up something valued for the sake of something else regarded as more important or worthy. What you value, you got to make sacrifices for something else. Like it's more important to come to church than it is to go out last night. Certain things like that. Even though I went out last night, I value this more. This is my sacrifice of sleep. I sacrifice sleep. I sacrifice time. I sacrifice my body. I gave up everything just to play the game that I love to do. And another thing is being accountable. It's a person or organization that is required or expected to justify actions or decisions. My actions, me being accountable is me showing up early in the morning, 5:30 for a workout, or running when I don't want to run, or having my teammates back through a film study, or going, doing anything that's making me accountable. Like it says you are responsible for what you do or what you don't do. Like I can come to church all I want, but if I'm not doing nothing here, it's not really justified. Like I'm sorry, I'm nervous. I'm sorry about that. Okay. I got so much stuff. I'm sorry about that. Okay, and another thing is me being coachable. Pastor always talk about being accountable to, like giving. That's a sacrifice as well. Giving your money, you know what I'm saying? Coachable is capable of being easily taught or trained to do something better. Okay. I'm coachable, but I used to think that I can do everything on my own, because I was faster than everybody. and I had I felt like in the beginning when I was in high school, I felt like I didn't have to do nothing the coach said. Like, I can go to this outside hole when the hole supposed to be the A gap, and I'm in a C gap. I'm not in this place where I'm supposed to be. And so that's not being coachable, because like if the player is supposed to be in the A gap and I'm running to the C gap, everybody else is on one accord blocking this play, but I'm on my own, so I'm by myself. So that's not being coachable. That's not being accountable. That's not sacrificing for your teammates. Like I used to tell Justin all the time, don't let nobody put a lid on your jar. Meaning that I'm not gonna let nobody tell me what I can't do. And another thing I heard a coach say, being coachable, uncoachable people become unemployed adults. Another coach took it a step further and said, uncoachable kids become inmates. So, like, in life, I just want to be coachable. I want to be able to, my pastor is my coach at church, and I want to be able to listen to what he's saying and act according to what he's teaching me, because I feel like that's what's going to lead me to heaven. And one of my favorite scriptures I used to always say playing football was Philippians 4:13, where I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. That's not nobody putting a lid on my jar, because my jar is always able to just fill up. I'm not going to let nobody put a lid on it. And that's my life lesson.
Sacrifice, accountable, coachable. That's a word, Doc. Now, y'all putting stuff on Facebook, y'all need to put that on there. The word for today, sacrifice. Doing something more than you value something else. Not that you don't value that, but you value this more. And sacrifice always involves pain. He said he gave up his time, up at 5:30 in the morning, running when you don't run, and you put your body, a living sacrifice. Put his body out there. Second, you got to be accountable. If they can't depend on you, if you carrying the ball and you gonna fumble, or you in the wrong place, how did he say you're supposed to be in the A gap and you running in the C gap? You supposed to be at church, you at home. Anybody watching me? You're not being accountable, because we all one place and you somewhere else. That's not the recipe for the play to work. It's not designed to work that way. And then the last thing, you got to be coachable. I like that. Like, uncoachable kids become unemployed adults or inmates. That's powerful. You got to listen to somebody. If you're the final arbiter in everything in your life and nobody has any influence, nobody can tell you what to do, I mean, at the very least, if we can find the will of God and you're willing to obey that, it's got to be something. But in the human realm, that's why they have coaches. I mean, as great a player as Tom Brady is, if Belichick can't tell him anything, that's a problem. That's a problem. That's a problem. And a lot of teams don't succeed because players won't follow their coaches. Now, sometimes they don't succeed because you have bad coaching. But it's not that we've had bad coaching. Not that we've had bad coaching. If we could just do those basic things. Thank you, Anthony. That was a great word. That was a great word. Both of these young men have really helped us tremendously today. Justin pulled the curtain back on a role in Black history, and those young men didn't just change Syracuse, because they changed the NCAA. Those things that they were asking for are commonplace today. And how he connected that, say, this affects where I go, because they fought for these things. And how quick we are to dismiss the pioneers. Look at what those men gave up. You don't know what they could have become in the professional ranks or what they could have become in other things. But what they made that one statement, sometimes, it's always difficult to do the hard right rather than the easy wrong. And they chose the hard right. And boy, what a tremendous story. Thank you, Justin, for teaching me something. Don't never get so smart and so knowledgeable that you figure you can't learn something. I learned something today. And it was taught to me by Justin Fontenot about that. I didn't know that today. And quick, those lessons which are applicable not just to sports but to life should stay with us in all that we do. Now that was great preaching for that. Now open your Bibles. We're going to make our confession. No, okay. Everybody said, what? No, we're through with that today. We want to make an invitation to discipleship. I don't know who's here today as our altar ministers stand in their designated place as those persons that are going to lead us musically. We're in the hands of those people, area brother Pastor Tony, who is in charge of our giving leadership to our prayer ministry, and our altar ministers, Sister LaDonna. They're in their place. They're in a posture of welcoming. And we sing this song every week because we mean it. You can begin again. Wherever you are in life, we serve a God of another chance. I heard a great philosopher say the other day, Brother Cat Williams. Cat said, I'm on my 35th second chance. The world is down to giving you second chances, and then they're done. But thank God we serve a God of another chance. There's some of us in here, and we don't really want people to know it, and we certainly don't want them to know the details, but we've messed up a bunch of times. And we've done things not just wrong, we've done things the wrong way. Some things could have worked out better for us if we'd done them the right way. But look at God, the God of another chance. Because you can have a fresh start. Everybody needs one. You can have a fresh start in any and every area of your life. So we don't know who's here today. We maybe recognized one or two guests that were here today. But if you're here today and you need a fresh start with God, now's the time. You can begin again. For God is here. All right, give the Lord a hand clap of praise, would you? Thank you. Want to say as well to our live stream, are we still on? Are we still on? If you're a Genesis partner, where's the camera? Here. If you're a Genesis partner and you have not, for whatever reason, been able to join us in worship today, but you've benefited from this worship service, from the music, from the prayers, from these two excellent presentations, it would only be right, and it would be more than robbery if you sat back and did not support financially to what we're doing. There's a way for you to give. If you're watching on live streaming, there's a way to give. You can give by text. You can give through our website. Our website is very simple. It's www.genesishouston.org. www.genesishouston.org. Just wrong for you to sit back and benefit in the comfort of your home and not support what we're doing. We ask you to do that. Those of you all who have not yet given, we want you to prepare to give, and those that we're going to be asking to continue to support us at an even higher level, we want you to begin to think about that and pray about that. I'm going to tell you what the Lord is asking us to do in a minute. God bless you. We'll see you next week at the same time for the live stream of the Genesis Church, a place for new beginnings. God bless you. Give the Lord a hand. All right. Did we have a first time guest today?